did what every mother would tell a child to do, which is to tell the truth, to follow your heart, and to do the right thing. And for that, you deserve our undying respect.
Good morning. My name is Mark Wilkerson. I joined the United States Army in June 2002 as a military policeman, and after training, I was stationed in Fort Hood, Texas with the 401st Military Police Company. In March 2003, I deployed to Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. I spent the majority of my year in Iraq in Tikrit and Samarra, providing convoy security in various operations inside these cities and others. I returned from Iraq in March of 2004 and made the decision to apply for Conscientious Objector status. When I approached my squad leader of this decision, I was told to wait until June when I would be promoted to specialist. I did what I was told and waited. During this time, I spoke out against the war, speaking about it with my friends in my unit and also with my family. In June, I was approached by a staff sergeant in my company and was handed a copy of Army Regulation 600-43, which outlines the standards of the Conscientious Objector application. I was told by her that I had 2 weeks only to turn in my application or it would not be considered. Facing a time crunch, I hurriedly prepared and turned in my application. Over the next 5 months, I attempted to convey my real feelings about war and violence and prove to the military that I truly was a conscientious objector. This proved difficult to do, and the process was made harder due to the intimidation and harassment I received from members of my chain of command. It was during the application process that my battalion was informed that we would be returning again to Iraq in January of 2005. During this application process, I faced interviews with the chaplain, a civilian psychologist, and a military investigator. Some of the harassment I received came from the psychologist, who called me a coward for not wanting to participate in war. As a Vietnam veteran, he claimed that he could not believe that a soldier would not be willing to fight and kill for his country. In addition, he told me a story of his ordering a village of women and children bombed because their husbands and fathers were fighting Americans, to further reinforce his message to me. During my interview with the chaplain, I was asked if I attended church, and when I told him I did not, he asked how I could know that war is wrong if I did not consult the Bible and God for advice. This sentiment was echoed by my first sergeant during several conversations I had with him concerning my CO status. When I pointed out that one of the 10 commandments was "thou shalt not kill," the chaplain laughed and claimed that the correct translation was "thou shalt not murder," and that what we were doing in Iraq was justified by God. It came as no surprise to me when these gentlemen wrote opinions against my CO claim. Also during this time, the build-up to the 2004 presidential election was underway, and as it was my right, I placed 2 bumper stickers on my truck. One read, "War is not the answer," and the other read, "Carry Edwards 04. The very next day, I was pulled over by Fort Hood Police for no reason other than diligent questioning about my bumper stickers. They told me they thought the vehicle was stolen, because surely no real soldier would vote Democrat, and they wanted to confirm that the truck was indeed mine. They then let me go. After my bumper sticker was seen by my first sergeant, a formation was called, and while plugging voter registration, my first sergeant told everyone that we had 2 choices in the election. There's either George Bush or the traitor. Perhaps the most damaging of all the harassment I faced came from a staff sergeant in my company. When escorting me to a meeting with the chaplain, the staff sergeant told me he was passing on a message to me from high above, claiming that if I embarrassed the unit or made them look foolish, I might not find myself returning from Iraq a second time. This went far beyond the jokes or mutterings under the breath made toward me in the past. This was a direct threat which made me fear for my life, but not from the enemy. Rather, it was from my own chain of command. I did not know where to turn or who to speak to about the threats and harassment, and because of that, none of my superiors who went against regulations and made threats were held accountable for their actions. I lost my trust in the military process. The fear instilled in me from all those statements played a major role in my decision to go AWOL from the military when my conscientious objector status was denied, rather than deploy to Iraq with my battalion. In addition to the harassment I've talked about, there were several mistruths told to me about timelines, deadlines, and military attorney availability, which all figured into my lack of preparation during the conscientious objector process. I ended up turning myself back into Fort Hood in August of 2006. In February of 2007, I was sentenced to 7 months of military confinement at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. I ended up serving 5 months of this and was given a bad conduct discharge. It seems to me that the process of proving conscientious objection is difficult in an all-volunteer army, especially for a 20-year-old, and I believe that there are certainly some flaws associated with going through this process. But the pressure that comes with attempting to prove this is made even more difficult when faced with the harassment I received. I sought discharge in a moral and legal way and followed the process out through to the end. But so many obstacles were thrown in my path and I was forced to make the decision I did. In conclusion, I was a young man who decided to join the military with the best intentions. At 19 years old, I served my country honorably in Iraq. But after participating in that conflict, my heart told me something wasn't right. And when I expressed that to my superiors, I was ostracized and shunned by those who I served with and trusted with my own life.
You could be our son. And you did what every mother would tell a child to do, which is to tell the truth, to follow your heart, and to do the right thing. And for that, you deserve our undying respect. You know, if I could swell up like a balloon, I would do that right now. I am so proud of you. And I think we are all sitting here and we are all so proud.
Thank you.